So I've got a really fun game today for you. If you're interested in the pushing, brawling, secondary build type of Battleship gameplay, that's what we're doing today. And as a Massachusetts player, this is the matchmaker you're looking for. It's tier 8 matchmaker, right? You're not beating up on tier 6s and it's not feeling that overpowered or unfair for other people. But you're also not getting destroyed by tier 10s that outrange you and have crazy HE and all this stuff. This is what I wish this game could be like all the time. If you could just fight your own tier, there's so many more amazing ships in the game, and things feel a lot more balanced. I think that's probably the biggest issue with Wargaming's balancing decisions. Yesterday I released that video on the upcoming balance changes, letting you guys know what I thought about the new update to certain ships coming. And a lot of people were seemingly frustrated with the way Wargaming balances their game. And it's difficult, right? Think about how many different types of ships with different abilities are all in this game at this point. It's hard to balance that at the same tier, let alone facing 2 tiers higher and 2 tiers lower. So in Matchmaker like this, I wish this game could be like this more often. I wish I could choose to sit in a queue for longer and get more games like this, because they're just so much more fun. They're just so much more fun. I don't need to beat up on tier 6s to have a good time, right? I just need to fight my own tier. It's that simple. So we're playing the Massachusetts. We're kind of bow in, but we have an escape route, right? Of course, I'm trying to play my Massachusetts similar to how you'd play a Des Moines, right? You're trying to sit on islands, you're trying to isolate 1v1s, you're trying to use your secondaries and your main guns to deal damage to whatever the target of priority is. And in this case, it's a lightning. But that's how I love to play these secondary battleships, and it's really the American secondary battleships that fit this style best. The German secondary battleships really don't do that well on an island because they have a gigantic superstructure. It's like twice the size of the Massachusetts superstructure. And for whatever reason, everybody shoots at that. I know, it's weird, right? And they get tons of damage through it. So playing a Bismarck like this probably wouldn't work out quite as well. In a Bismarck, you want to stay a little bit more mobile. You're trying to dodge with your rudder and your speed and that kind of thing. You don't want to sit very stationary, because then if you sit stationary, people just get really nice salvos on you for free. This guy's not angling particularly well, but you can see 8,000 damage. We didn't even get a particularly good dispersion salvo. If you take a look at the secondaries incoming on me, you can see how good the secondary accuracy is these days from something like a Bismarck. It's pretty laughable, I would say. It's downright sad what they've done to these secondary battleships. But Massachusetts, of course, gets slightly better dispersion on the secondaries still. And it results in a few more hits, but of course it's not the best thing in the world either. I've recently gone back and watched a couple of my videos on old Massachusetts, Ohio, Georgia, that kind of thing, and it's pretty sad to see the state of these secondaries. So, you're playing this ship not for the secondaries in my mind, you're playing this ship for the main guns and this heal. This heal that allows you to sustain in front of basically 2 to 3 ships, I would say, for a reasonable amount of time. We're creating a decent crossfire here with our Bismarck, but our Bismarck kind of YOLO'd in here, so he's going to go down. That's really not what you want to do. It's a very, very quick way to die. In fact, I was playing ranked today off stream a little bit, and I played a GK, and I died in 2 minutes. Actually, less than 2 minutes, and I was bow in the whole time. You don't want to be tanking multiple ships at once. That's not what battleships are designed to do. They're designed as long-range gun support and 1v1 specialists, assuming people are spotted, right? You can't 1v1 a DD very easily. But we're pushing in. This Massachusetts is kind of stuck in a rough spot because there's a lot of cruisers spamming him with HE. Our secondaries are on him, and of course our main guns are slapping him through his superstructure. Because superstructure pens make a lot of sense, don't they? And at this point, Massachusetts goes down, Bismarck goes down, and Amalfi goes down as well. We get 3 very, very, very quick kills there. One of those happening on the other side of the map. So we're definitely in the driver's seat of this game. And now is something that might look silly, but I'm about to push in the open against a Vanguard and a Prince Eugen. I'm assuming the lightning has gone to the other side at this point. We got a massive Citadel in Vanguard. Don't expect dispersion like that if you're playing a Massachusetts all the time, but Vanguard does have a vulnerable Citadel. It's one of the few battleships that actually does have a Citadel above waterline these days. So it's always nice to run into one because the dude makes a mistake, he gets punished for it. That's very rare in this game these days. So I'll take it when I can get it, right? Now, pushing here is not the best idea, I'll be honest. I was super conflicted when playing this game, whether I should actually push in or if I should go dark and maybe take a more conservative route going back towards our base and then up through maybe the 6 or 7 line into those islands where I can play around islands again, right? Like, I'm trying to play around islands. Pushing like this, it's a great way to die, right? We're on fire. We're pretty much always going to be on fire in a battleship. If people are shooting at you, that's just how this game works. Fire chance is pretty insane. And we're going to definitely use up our heals here, right? We only have 1 left. And I mean, that's the power of the ship, right? Like, I'm still alive. I've used almost all my heals at this point. I'm still alive. It keeps you alive, but yeah. You lose a lot of HP very, very quickly in these ships when you're pushing in, right? So trying to kill the Vanguard here, hoping that our CV maybe goes after him, or our Veneto decides to shoot him with some sap. Pretty easy kill there, but CV goes after Prince Eugen first. Hopefully he has enough for a drop on the Vanguard. The goal is, of course, to finish off low health targets before they get a chance to heal, right? And here, of course, he gets his heal off. So what am I doing here? I am pushing in, and the reason for pushing in like this is not to get more damage. It's not to really help myself. It is in a roundabout way to help myself. It's to inspire my teammates to push in, right? You can see how far back our cruisers are. Our Veneto is a little ways behind me, not too far back actually. He's pushing as well, which is really nice. And it's important that you do this every once in a while. Games like this can quickly go from easy wins to easy losses because our team is outnumbered on the other flank, right? So we've won our flank, that's all fine and good. But there's so many times where you win your flank and then the enemy team ends up crushing your other flank and in the time that it takes you to travel across the map. There you get a nice view of how useless the secondaries are these days. Oh man, that's so sad to see. Look at them all missing. No. Oh man, that's so sad. Oh, we got a hit. There we go. But yeah, I'm trying to inspire my team to push aggressively here, push the advantage, because we're probably going to end up losing a couple ships on the other side of the map. They're outnumbered, they're outgunned, and they're kind of trapped in the corner, right? So we're trying to give the people who are pushing into them something else to think about. This is how you dodge a CV, by the way, in a battleship, if you have the room to maneuver. You go broadside to dive bombers, you go broadside to... No, you angle into rocket planes and you angle into torpedoes, right? Very basic, but you're really only able to do that against a ship, or when there's no battleships around, or something like a torpedo boat, right? You can't really be expected to maneuver like that if somebody's able to slap your broadside, right? But we're disengaging, but you can see our cruisers have pushed up at this point. Our Veneto is taking a lot of the heat now, but we're all out of heals. So our push did its job. I think it got our team engaged in the fight. People are close enough. But that was pretty sad how 1v1 basically against a Prince Eugen, I wasn't able to really do much. Cruisers are very good in this game, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. I'd like to think I have very good aim in this game, and struggling to deal any damage to this guy. So, yeah, it's when I hear people complaining about how bad cruisers are, I just think there's a learn to play issue. Not even that, because people go broadside all the time in their cruisers and they take no damage. So I don't know. Maybe people are just expecting free damage too much. I don't know. But in my opinion, cruisers are insane right now. They're really, 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 really strong. And just because I guess battleships aren't pushing in as much, they're not getting as much free damage. They have to actually go look for good positioning. Maybe that's why people are complaining about cruisers. But cruisers, in my mind, are awesome right now. Really, really, really strong. So, yeah, lost basically all of our remaining HP to that Prince Eugen without doing much in return. And now you can see I'm trying to use the islands to finally get some cross shots, get some decent damage to finish out this game. We're already up to 150k damage. That's already a very good game. I think I average around 120, 125 in a Massachusetts, that kind of thing. So it's above average game so far, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, no kills, which is kind of sad. We probably had a couple opportunities to get some, but we didn't quite manage to do it. But that's okay. I'll still take a decent game like this. It showcases a good way of pushing in and helping your team by getting them moving, getting them going, right? We did end up losing all our guys in the north, right? You can see how the scores have kind of flipped semi-evenly, I guess. Health pools aren't that different, right? We're only, what, 30, 40k up on HP. Now we got the Cleveland kill. It's looking like more of a win here. The main thing is our push enabled our team to get up closer to the enemy base, and it forces the enemy team now to push into us, right? Rather than them winning the north side of the map and then taking all these really strong islands here, right? Where the Veneto is, where I am. These islands are incredibly powerful at stopping a push out of the south, right? And that's why when there's capture zones on here, I think it's C cap is up in the north here. It's way better to control C because you can protect B from C a lot easier than from A. So the pushing into the B cap from the south is really difficult because it's all wide open. And it's quite easy from the north because there's so many good islands here. And that's why we needed to push up quickly and take some of these islands away from the enemy team. Otherwise, it could have turned out that the enemy team takes these good islands, they get spotting from their carrier, we don't actually catch up to their carrier, so the carrier's still alive, right? And then they get all this free damage without us being able to really see much of them at all. So not the this game could have definitely gone the other way, I think. Definitely not a guaranteed win. At this point, we've won, right? But I think our play definitely helped our team win. And a broadside NC. No citadels. Too bad. Rough dispersion. But at least at these ranges, we're getting some secondary hits in that are somewhat useful. I don't know, man. Secondaries are just sad to me at this point. I hope they buff them sometime. I would be very happy about that. Just put them back to how they used to be. They were already pretty much useless. But this really, really has made things quite rough to play. But yeah, a good game. I enjoyed this one. I had fun. We get nearly 200k damage. We'll probably get it maybe with the Prince Eugen here. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I don't know if it was much of a teaching one, but a fun game to watch, I think. Getting in there and brawling it out. There we go. We get a close quarters expert there. Secondaries are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Blind shot for the kill. Yes, sir. Double strike. So we get a few kills in the end. And I think that was our 200k damage as well. So a solid game. I think we got high caliber, Confederate, double strike, close quarters expert. A good Massachusetts game, right? That's what you're looking for anytime you play one of these. Oh, Dreadnought, fireproof as well. Very good. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let's take a look at how I've got my Massachusetts built. So currently my Massachusetts has a bit of a weird build on it. I'm running IFHE, and that's for the games against the same tier and lower. Penetrating 26 millimeters with these secondaries actually makes them pretty useful. against ships, of course, that have 26 millimeters or less, which is a lot of lower tier ships. Some cruisers at your tier, right? Helps you deal with those light cruisers, maybe in a closer quarters situation when you just are going to overpen them, that kind of thing. I like this build. It's a tanky, secondary focused thing, but realistically, a average build that you would use on Massachusetts, Georgia, and Ohio, you wouldn't take IFHE. You probably wouldn't even take close quarters expert. You'd probably pull a concealment or probably even emergency repair expert, since you can go through these heals so quickly. You can see in this last game I showed you, I would have actually gone through all of those heals if I had 5, right? So that is something to keep in mind. Pretty standard upgrades, honestly. I don't really think I have to explain much there. And just to give a counterexample, here's my Ohio captain right now. It does have Deadeye because Ohio, I tend to have to snipe more because it's tier 10. This is another option you could do for your commander. This is a decent one as well. And yeah, if you wanted to go into some secondaries, you'd get these two. And then, yeah, you would go, instead of Deadeye, you'd go Fire Prevention or Emergency Repair Expert. Maybe you go improve secondary battery aiming, and you go Emergency Repair Expert, and you go Fire Prevention to really get the full tank. You don't care as much about concealment, you don't care as much about long range, and you're using islands to push up with to try and get into those secondary ranges. That's maybe a good option as well. I like to tinker around with these builds, so they're often changing in between those 3 to 4 skills. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and have a great day.